blood-curdling screams. So we're listening, and Jim's only like 4 or 5, we're listening, nothing. All of a sudden, we hear them singing in the bedroom, and then out pops Jim and Dad holding hands, walking out there, and I go, Jim, I said, buddy, you got to be an attorney when you grow up. Anybody can talk Dad out of that. So, but he took Dad in the bedroom because, let's pray, Dad, let's pray. Okay, we'll pray. Oh, let's sing a song, Dad, let's sing a song. Next thing you know, Jim's got Dad eating out of the palm of his hands. And I told him that when you were a little kid. You remember, Jim?
I do.
You do? And with that, Jim's got a few things to share here.
Okay. Tim stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to mention Mom, whose absence is conspicuous here because she's instrumental in getting you to come down and take the job with Kroger's. But in addition to Mom, there's something else we need to thank. And do you remember the circus cane, or the canes you could get at the fair by throwing a ring? I don't know if you still have that.
I remember. I remember.
Fair.
Same spot.
Exactly, right there as you came off of Fair Avenue, I think, at the Y. And we always had several of those all over the house, and we need to thank one of those canes because that is what my mom used to break over his head to go over and get the job. And that's not totally too far from the truth. She was sick of you being lazy, and you went down there. So in addition to thanking Kroger's, that's right. I can remember that. Would have been one of my earliest memories. I was 4 years old at the time. So that's something to reminisce about. The other one concerns something Tim mentions, although this is completely true, and that is thanking John, literally, for saving my life. When I was probably not much older than that, maybe 4 or 5, we have a farm, or had a farm out south of town. Mrs. Schwinneman, you would remember that well. And I had been playing at a trough where a spring fed into it. And the trough was full of moss and algae, and it was real slippery. And I went head over heels into the trough and fell in. And I couldn't get out of this thing. I was slippery, slipping and sliding. I couldn't stand up, and I kept falling backwards into the trough, and I could barely swim at the time. And true story, and this is not embellished, I was laying on my back, looking up at the top of the water, starting to really panic. And the next thing I saw was John's hand come down through the water, grab me, pick me up, pull me up out of the water. So, for better or for worse, he did save my life.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, true story indeed. And the final little anecdote concerns, well, it's certainly not saving my life, but when John rolled, actually my older brother Lou rolled into town, and whenever my brother Lou would come in, and if you think this guy is crazy, impulsive, and irresponsible, my brother Lou took that to a new level. So the two of them together were especially bad. When they rolled into town, I would have been in maybe 6th or 7th grade. They came into the school and somehow sweet-talked the secretary into getting me out. And I don't know, what was it, some sort of like out-of-school teaching class that you were going to...
I don't know, but we went into the school and talked to the secretary and says we need to get Jim and Joe out of school. They've got to go play video games. And this secretary is kind of looking at it.
It was a computer science course.
That's what it was. Looking at it, it's kind of crazy. And sure enough, I went in there, talked to her, and next thing you know, Jim and Joe were walking out the front door.
We popped out and took off and had a lot of fun that day. But my dad happened to find out sometime later on. And for those of you that remember my dad, he was definitely a law and order, straight-laced kind of guy. You can see the paternal genes were not dominant in most of us. And he was absolutely livid and furious that particular day. But it was a lot of fun, and despite the punishment that I know that I think you got, and the rest of us, it was well worth it. So, congratulations on 35 years. Thanks to Kroger's, to Mom, and that broken cane fair.
But if you guys haven't met these guys, this is Jim and this is Tim. Take a minute, come up, introduce yourself to them, and say hi. We have a lot of good memories, and thanks everybody for coming. We got pizza and pop over here.
Great. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't. Because, I'm O negative, and Harold was typed when he was in med school as being B positive, and we were going to get married. And so he said, you know what, I'm going to check my blood and see what type I am. He checked it, and it was O negative. He says, that's strange, so he had somebody else check it. He says, it's O negative. And so then he went to the lab, but the real, to Cincinnati General. And by golly, it was O negative. And so all of our kids are O negative.
Oh, they all are.
Oh, interesting. And I've given blood, and Martin has, and Mark gives a lot of blood. And I don't know if Les has or not.
Tim?
Yes, sir.